to the Fahrenheit slang. It is the slangs that brings us here together. All praise due to the Fahrenheit slang. It is the slangs that brings us purpose. Welcome to the fair. Yes, I met Trump. I'm not a clickbaiter. Okay. Yes, I met Trump. Yes, Trump had the pleasure of meeting First Degree the DE. I'm not a clickbaiter. We got a good show. Let's get to it. Okay, a lot of stuff that need to get did today on the bear. As mentioned, your president, Donald Trump, had the privilege of meeting First Degree the DE. We'll talk about it. It was quite the event. Quite the event. Obviously, I'm talking about part of it you could see on the video, the Fahrenheit record, but that's just a part of it. We'll talk about that. What else? I got everything ripped. I got everything. Oh, we gonna talk. TV is dead, yo. We gonna have a funeral. TV is dead, yo. And I gotta give a shout out to TikTok, who killed it. Okay? TikTok and the rest of the shorts, but in particular TikTok. I gotta talk about TikTok. I got some TikTok homework for you. Okay, DE always got you in mind. That's what excites me the most. That's what excites me the most. At the end of the last show, I revealed to you people all in my life is asking me how and why I'm doing this. The answer is, how can I not? We're going to talk about the whole process, go back to 2015, the climate of the country, the climate of the DE, and how it all equates to what we've been getting did and what we've been talking about while we're exchanging intelligent of ideas. Back to 2015, climate of the nation. I get asked what that means a lot. That's just short for nation. Climate of the nation. And see how it equates to now and what we've been talking about on the Fahrenheit. I'm in the chat. Julio, duck. Lorenzo, yes. So let's go. A message from the Schlangs. May the Schlangs allow us to believe the best of ourselves. May the Schlangs allow no cliff to be greater than our ability to climb. May the Schlangs make a better me today and tomorrow and the next day. May the Schlangs allow us, the sons of Fahrenheit, to be worthy of our dreams. We're going to talk about that with the TikToks and the nitty-knots and the chit-chat. May the Schlangs allow us to excel in everything we do. May the Schlangs convince us that we will succeed. And we will succeed with grandeur when it's time. May the Schlangs allow our bodies to be slimmer and healthier tomorrow. May the Schlangs allow us to recognize our talent, aka that makes us different. That comes easier to you than it does to other. That makes you a problem solver. May the Schlangs allow our new beginning wealth to be overflowing. May the Schlangs allow us to have a wealth mindset and ride the frequency. Thank you, Almighty of Schlangs. Thank you, Almighty of Schlangs. Thank you, Almighty of Schlangs. Thank you, Almighty, your sight. Now, let's talk. First, I want to talk about the TikToks. Okay? Television, you are dead. The problem with you is you too watered down and you're built on distraction. The core, what up, Joe? The core of your being is false. Some of your products, BET, MTV, used to have a pure core. It had a purpose. For those that don't know, those MTV, the BTs, they used to play hits. They used to break hits. Now it's nothingness. ESPN, they're screaming about opinions about grown men throwing balls around. It's just television. You had a good run. Now enters the TikTok era. The reason the TikTok era is different, the reason why I will turn on a TikTok or a YouTube short before I'll turn on a television, and this is new, I'm just figuring this out, is because it's an interest media. Somehow the TikToks know that I want to be smart. And the TikToks I be learning from the TikToks. When have I ever said I be learning from television? I don't think I've ever said that ever. But I'm learning from the TikToks. The algorithm knows I want to learn. So it's like this medium knows I want to learn and is feeding me knowledge on stuff that people just want to put out. And if I don't like it, I swipe. If I don't like it, I swipe. So the TikToks is a whole thing now. It's an interest media. So this is what I want you to do. Okay, if you got the TikToks, the reason I'm bringing up, and not even the TikTograms and the Insta, I'm talking specifically the TikToks. Okay, we talked about backwards mapping, a big goal you got. Okay, we talked about backwards mapping, a big goal you got. Then in order to get that goal, you got to step here. In order to get that goal, you got to step here, and you whittle it down to a micro promise. Talked about yesterday, you whittle it down to a micro promise. Okay, big deal. Okay, real big deal. Get on the TikTok. It's your homework. Whatever that big goal is, find 7 search words. 7 search words associated with that goal. Search them on the TikToks, not the Twittergrams or the Insta chats. 7 search words associated with that major goal, the end game. Search it on the TikToks. And the TikToks will feed you information. TV is dead. Get off that. It's only meant to distract you, especially screaming men, screaming about opinions about grown men throwing around a ball. Get on the TikToks. They talk about the phone, but it depends on what you're doing with the phone. Okay? Get on the TikTok, 7 search words associated with that major goal, and the algorithm will algorize. Okay? The algorithm will algorize. Mr. Ross, Wraith. Let's move forward and get a chat. Get a drink of water. Now, we're going to talk about Trump. Okay, we're going to talk about Donald Trump. Had the pleasure of meeting First Degree the D. I'll say it again. We're going to talk about Donald Trump having the pleasure of meeting First Degree the D a little later. That's what I need you to do, Fahrenheit family. Underbelly Sound Wars, 5-part series. Matrix, Star Wars, DC, Marvel, all combined into one with a DE twist. A whole universe was birthed. Now, instead, Dead Wave wins. There's no going back. Okay? Dead wave wins. There's no going back. So, the next Underbelly Sound Wars series is going to go back into the stories of our heroes and our villain. The next Underbelly Sound Wars series is going to go back. Stories of our hero and stories of our villain. So I need you to help me with the stories. What character of the Underbelly Sound Wars deserves his own story? I need you, the faithful sons of Fahrenheit. Which character of the Underbelly Sound Wars deserves his own story? I need you to let me know. Okay? I need you to let me know. Let me know. Okay, gotta finish that. It's all about the end, like we talked about. Now, let's get to it. Let's get to it. Me meeting Donald Trump was not clickbait. Picture it. 2015. Now, this is a perfect clip. AI, clip this important. This is a perfect example of what we've been talking about, backwards mapping. Picture it, 2015. Obama the president. I have this beat Funk Beta made. I've had it for years, and I just could not put anything to it. Funk Beta beat for years, could not put anything to it, but I love the beat. Then I just, from the Schlangs, the mighty O Schlangs gives me the message. I want to have a song where I'm a news reporter, but the only thing is I want Reel of Stars. I'm going to say it again. I have this unattainable goal. I want to have a music video with the biggest, where I am a newscaster, but the only way to make it legit is if I have the biggest of stars. And instead of looking at it as an overwhelming goal, I said, well, in order for that to happen, I got to do this. Do this. And it just so happened that the three presidential candidates was coming into town. So when I whittled it down, it was just, I need to go to these three political events, yo. And my vision of having a music video of being a reporter will be legitimized. The song was called The Fahrenheit Wreck-It. The song was called The Fahrenheit Wreck-It. Urban news you need to know now. We talked about plenty of times. You got your gangster rap genre. I know it's pronounced genre. We got your gangster rap genre. But at the same time, you gotta come left field with it. So that song's called the Fahrenheit Record. Obama the president, Hillary Clinton, Donald Trump, Bernie Sanders coming to sack. Okay? All of them excited to meet the DE. No. All coming to sack. The first one I went to, okay? The first one I went to was Bernie Sanders. Okay, at the time, Bernie was the hot underdog and at the time, Bernie Sanders was, and I've taken a lot of slack for this video from some of my Latin homies. I understand all that, okay, but I had to be neutral. I was a reporter. Anywho, I went to all of the events. I didn't just go to the Trump event. Anywho, I went to the Bernie Sanders event. It was 33,000 people in the soccer thing into Arden. 33,000 people. I went there to meet Bernie and get footage for my video. Now, I don't have the most expensive of camera, but when the DE sets his mind, something is gonna happen. Thank you, O Schlangs, Almighty of Schlangs. Thank you, Almighty of Schlangs. I get to the front, make my way through 33,000 of people, get up to Bernie. What's good, Bernie? You know, you might win this. You got the people. You got 33,000 people. You know, I'm the DE. Parts of it is in the video because I was trying to record at the same time, doing too much because I'm a one-man band. But part of it, that interaction is in the video. Okay, that was 33,000 people. Next event, Trump. Okay, next event, Trump. I'm neutral. Okay, I'm a reporter, I'm neutral. I'm a reporter, I'm neutral. How you gonna trust the DEG? How you supposed to trust the DEG if I ain't neutral? So I go to the Trump event. As I'm going to the event, there's picketers, obviously. They're hollering at the DEG, calling me a I don't care what's going on. I'm on a DEG mission. I kept telling these protesters, I'm not here for none of this mess. My name is First Degree the D. I'm here on a mission on my own on the Fahrenheit Schlangs. I don't care what none of you people are talking about. So here I am in this line, the only black person around just screaming, I don't care what none of you people are talking about. It was odd. Well, I wasn't screaming, but I was just letting my point be known to the protesters. Okay? It was two of them. It was a Latin and there was this Native American with a long tail. Okay? I got pictures of it somewhere. But I'm screaming at these protesters, I don't care what's going on. So that was in this line. Get in the event, 10,000 people. 33,000 at Bernie, 10,000 people at Trump. You can watch Fahrenheit record video. I took the camera. I had the bestest of camera, but I gave you a shot. I gave you a shot of the environment. Okay? Listen to the Trump speech. No one thought he was going to win at the time, okay? I was just going to go. No one thought he was going to win. I was just going to go, man. But he did the Trump speech. And then amongst the 10,000 crazy people, DE was on a DE mission. Had my camera, D was on the D mission. I don't care what none of these MAGAs or none of D's on the D mission, gonna get his mission. So I go up with the camera. That's the first interaction. First interaction, I didn't even have the camera on him. So I was just like there, okay? There used to be a YouTube video of this. I can't find it, I can't reference it, but they used to be on the YouTubes and the internet. But there's a video of after the first interaction with Trump. I'm running around, and then this interaction happened. And I'll look for it again, but it's gone. As Trump is coming back, I needed to see deep in this man's soul. Yo, I needed to see deep. I didn't need to talk. I needed to look deep in this man's soul, yo. So I got back to the front. This time it wasn't nearly as many people. Obviously, I'm one of two blacks. I get up there and I get real close and we just looking at each other. Then he starts walking and I start walking with him. So here we are, the DE and Trump, we're walking, looking eye to eye. It's getting real awkward. You know how I do. You know I like to do things. I didn't need to say no words. I just was telling them, be the best of you. Be the best of you. Be the best of you. Telepathic. He will not forget that. It was his first time in Sacramento. He will not forget that. I hate that it's not on YouTube anymore. But the whole thing was on YouTube. Anywho, I had to have my camera on and up there. But there's pieces of it in the video. So here we are. I got this unattainable goal. Want to be a TV reporter in my next rap video? I got Bernie, I met Trump. Now it's time to meet Hillary Clinton. I go to the Hillary Clinton event. Okay. I go to the Hillary Clinton event. It's closed and there's only 500 people inside. Message. Hint. I go to the Hillary Clinton event. It's private. There's probably about 100 of us outside, but it's closed and there's 500 people inside. Nugget. So, okay. So I couldn't get any footage of her. Here's what it is. Boom. I end up going, since I had once you get started and start with these micro promises that we talked about, the ball gets rolling. Once I got Trump and Bernie, then I got Steph Curry, and that's when I got all Jerry Rice, and I didn't have the bestest of camera, but I just do it for you. You don't need me to have the bestest of camera. You just need me to provide, and I'm figuring this out now. It's the Fahrenheit Hour. I'm figuring this out on the Fahrenheit Hour. I meet Bernie. I meet Trump. Hillary skips out on the DE. Curry, all this. I end up with all this footage. Fahrenheit record. The Fahrenheit record, and I would like to have the honor of performing and explaining the Fahrenheit record and getting giddy at the parallels on what's getting did today with the Fahrenheit Hour. I'm in the chat. Leon Carlos, the King. Greasy. Let's go. In the chat. Now, that was the Fahrenheit record. Boom. Want to put it out. I want to perform it. I wrote it down. After all that, so that's the purpose of the song. Because those of you who watched it, Underbelly Sound Wars, those of you that watched it, Underbelly Sound Wars, know true power. True power is information. It's not money. It's who controls information. That's why these AI is like the internet on steroids. I remember when we had maps. Then GPS came along and the whole world changed. I remember when we had phones attached to walls and cords. Then cell phones came on, the whole world changed. I remember pre-internet, then the internets and the Twittergrams and the Instachats, and the whole world changed. AI is all that times 10. Underbelly Sound Wars was just a small example of what you could do with AI moving forward. With that in mind, I performed the Fahrenheit record. Clip this important AI. First degree to D, the Fahrenheit record. The Fahrenheit record bringing you the news. From an urban perspective, can't lose. The Fahrenheit record bringing you the slice. Online street site, that's twice as nice. Husseini Sack News Review hits me up out the sign. That's a newspaper out here. The true story. Exclusive DE perspective, grown man thing. NPR and the news always talking about the Middle East. Stop! NPR and the news always talking about the Middle East. What about my peeps? NPR and the news always talking about the Middle East. What about my peeps? If the Moos and the Jews put on Chuva's shoes, they might see the clues. And of course, I mean Moos. I'll reveal on the Fahrenheit Hour, of course, is Muslim. If the Muslims and the Jews would just put on each other's shoes, they might see the clues and get along. Oh my goodness. You have to understand this is a gangster rap era. I had to come left field with it for you. That's what I do. If the Moors and the Jews put on Chubba's shoes, they might see the clues. If the Bloods and the Crips knew the man stacked the chips, they might flip the scripts. If the Bloods and the Crips knew the man stacked the chips, pitted us against each other, neighborhoods, race, harnessing that energy, even if it's negative, for their own self, propelling, keeping in power. If the Bloods and the Crips knew the man stacked the chips, they might flip the scripts. If the Limbaugh and the Cheney wasn't so complaining, perhaps not be zany. And that kind of goes to what we were saying. We can learn from the whites. We can learn from the blacks. We learn from the Mexicans. We learn from the Indians. We learn from the Native Americans. We learn from the Asians. Everybody has something to give. And if you just listen. Now, that reminds me, this time, just to pause in the record form of this time, when I go and vote, okay, I don't want to forget this, so I'm going to pause this and talk about it. When I go and vote, even though voting is a game and all this and that, I like to go vote because I like to go to this South Sacramento spot, the public spot in the hood, yo. I always go to the public spot in the hood, get the feel of the people. Okay, get a feel of the people. My number one thing I do is just go and just listen. I'm talking a lot now, but I don't talk a lot. I like to listen. So when I go and vote, I remember when Obama was elected, when I went to the hood, it was just a party. Whites, blacks, it was just a party in the voting spot in the hood. The line was out the door. The news was just, and it was evident. I could always tell what's going to happen from that spot in the hood, yo. Okay? I could always tell what's going to happen from that spot in the hood. When Trump won, it was a ghost town, yo. When Trump won, it was a ghost town. Oh my good Hillary, I went to go meet you. Maybe if you would have met the DEG, maybe if you would have taken the time like Bernie, maybe if you would have taken the time like Trump, met the DEG, I don't bite. I'm a nice feller. Met the DEG, maybe the South Sacramento voting spot could have been a party for you. Instead, it was a ghost town. And that's when I knew who was going to win. Anywho, I love to get a feel of the people in the South Sacramento voting spot. And just listen. I don't talk. NPR and the news always talking about the Middle East. What about my peeps? If the Moors and the Jews put on Chava's shoes, they might see the clues. If the Bloods and the Crips knew the man stacked the chips, they might flip the scripts. If the Limbaugh and the Cheney wasn't so complaining, perhaps not be zany. If the blacks and the crackers embrace different cultural factors, may not be backwards, we're talking about that now. This was 2015, 10 years ago. Talking about the same thing Underbelly Sound Wars is trying to tell the people. Embrace what makes you different, blacks and whites. Embrace what makes you different, Mexicans and Asians. I'm telling you, embrace it. This is 2015 with the same message. That's why I love you guys having me explain these songs. Let me check the chat. Let me check the chat. We still here. That's why I love that you guys got me explaining these songs. Because I've never ever explained them ever. Moving forward. If the blacks and the crackers embrace different cultural factors, may not be backwards. I'm Edie Lambert. I'm Christmasius, bringing you the news as so I see us. Won't see me on mainstream with Hearst or Rupert. Okay, Hearst owns NBC News. Okay, Hearst and them as a family, they own NBC News. Okay, even though uh, when I made this song, I said, won't see me on mainstream with Hearst or Rupert, but my friend Edie Lambert did a segment on the history of Sacramento rap and proved me wrong. So thank you, Edie, on that. Proved me wrong on the record. So Hearst, the Hearst family that owns NBC News, get down with the DE. Okay, so I apologize. I apologize to the Hearst Corporation. Won't see me on mainstream with Hearst or Rupert. Dang it. Dang it. But I'm so vulnerable on the Fahrenheit Hour. Sometimes we're here, but sometimes I gotta get real here. Rupert owns the Fox in them. Rupert owns the Fox in them. But like we talked about a few days on the Fahrenheit Hour, when I was on Wheel of Fortune, Fox News called me and said, we'll put this story front page on our national website and we'll put your name on it if you please let us interview you. So I allowed the Fox News, Rupert Murdoch and them, took a risk. I don't care about politics. I'm here and there. It's all a game anyway. I took it. I said, Rupert, I will let bygones be bygones. I've dissed you on my record, but I will allow you to use my likeness on your website as long as you put me front page and as long as you put my rap name in it and mention the Sons of Fahrenheit. So they say Fahrenheit. Well, I don't think the Fox will, but they say my name, which is you. Anytime you see my name, there's you. So I, once again, humbly apologize to Rupert and them because they actually did put me on mainstream like Hearst. So this line actually does not hold weight the same way, but I had no idea that I would be on NBC News. I had no idea I would be on National Fox News. They put me at the top. I was shocked. Here we go. Won't see me on mainstream with Hearst or Rupert, but underground publications on the brink give me ink. Think, don't blink, cause just like that, the world falter. Based on the fact we on from here to Gibraltar. I'll never be rich. I'd rather have reach. And that's another thing I thought with Trump. It's like, when I looked at him, it was like, he's just a person. And is it the power that corrupts people and the image of power? But I just saw this, I don't know how. I'll never be rich because it takes a tyrant mentality. We know he's a tyrant and all that, but it takes a tyrant mentality to be that rich, okay? It takes a tyrant mentality to be that rich. Because you got to just be like, because you got to see people and you just like, no, I'll never be rich. I'd rather have reach, rather influence the globe than sit on a stack, touching the people. Let them know I'll be back. Ain't no army of straps in your armory got us buzzing. Ain't no army of straps in your armory got us buzzing. Okay, this line was kind of difficult to say. Because armory and ornery are two different words. Ain't no army of strap in your armory got us buzzing. It's our passion and ornery. Bass on we deep, cousin. Let me try that again, just to put myself out there and do things. Ain't no army of strap in your armory got us buzzing. It's our passion and ornery. Bass song we deep, cousin. Got 6,000 blacks outside that won't say no. Students, peers, activists, fans, and pimps. All here for the movement. Ran by me, my mans, and them. The more you know, more opportunities flow. The less you realize forced to do things in your eyes. You gotta understand, this is a gangster rap. I don't care about whatever they're supposed to be. I just want to be for you. I can't emphasize that enough. When I reread this and remember the times, it's like, damn, okay, I'll just do it for them then. I'll do it for them then. The more you know, more opportunities flow. The less you realize, because I could have been like, I am that's what most rap is, and I am. It's an ego trip. And people who feel the ego trip, but this is totally focused on you, and this is a decade ago. Everything I tell you now on the Fahrenheit Hour about focusing on you as a parent in these raps. These raps are an invitation for the intelligent urban minds. Let's gather. The more you know, more opportunities flow. The less you realize forced to do things in your eyes, like lower your standards or burglarize. Dang. The more you know, more opportunities flow. The less you realize forced to do things in your eyes. That's just like saying information is power. But then if you don't have that information, you got to feel like you in a box. Dang. The result of not having information is like has a direct channel to lowering your standards. Lack of information can affect your whole being, I'm telling you, it's true power. It's just information. I'm not talking about stupid people doing stupid things. I know you guys are starting to see it on the TV. Distraction. People on your phone, look at this stupid person doing something stupid. Distraction. The more you know, more opportunities flow. Yeah, the less you realize forced to do things in your eyes, like lower your standards or burglarize. Not much difference between raps and reporting. I'm just typing my perspective instead of in booth recording. The government has patent HIV. Civil courts concede killing Martin Luther the key. Dr. Umar Johnson calls illusion of inclusion. Yes, Obama's the face, but they out there doing. Politicians, that's that is not real power. That's a temporary service position. You look at a president, you're like, oh, Kanye said, I want to be the president. You can't serve. It's a serving. You're like serving. True power is putting those people in those positions. True power is the people who have the information and decide what the rest of them have. Now, we talked about they. We talked about flipping the script, yo. This will be a good time to talk about that. We talked about complaining about the people in power, but we are going to be the they. Whenever they say they, that is us. That is our trajectory. Is the they with the power moving forward. In the digital world, y'all make it so easy them to know everything. When you're good, when you're sleazy. In the digital world, it's made so easy us to find unite, come together, make these Jeezy. In the midst of the just, you'll find thus. In the midst of the just, you'll find thus. That's just the just. Like justice. In the midst of the just, you'll find thus. And remember we talked about sometimes if it's so important, you either not make a rhyme or just stop. In the midst of the just, you'll find thus. There was an old Dirty Bastard video, man. This for the Brooklyn Zoo video. That fool was just sitting there staring at the camera. I'll never forget that. That fool was crazy. In the midst of the just, you'll find thus. When I step in the booth, oh, here we are. We made it, fellas. We made it, fellas. AirPod Academic, YouTube Yoda, Wikipedia Warrior. Back a decade ago in 2015, I was addressing you. Captain Consumer, a decade ago, I was addressing you. I was addressing when I enter the booth, I'm not on your level. My mission is God, the schlangs, my people, and delivering invitations for the urban intelligent. There is no room in that purpose for the YouTube Yoda with his YouTube premium account that thinks he knows music. Okay? When I've been playing music on one of these since rap was born, since I've been playing music on one of these since rap was birthed off, all the way till now, the Underbelly Song Wars, that's dang near 35 years of releases. Perspective of the street, been in the street while you were bumping Brother Lynch Hung, Season of the Sick, feeling like you know everything. I was on 29th Street tutoring mathematics, tutoring the Crips in Mathematicars, and running with Brother Lynch and getting on the record in the studio. Please refer to my experience in this game before you leave these comments. I love that the Fahrenheit Hours numbers are getting bigger, but the bigger and bigger we're getting, and I'm even going to check the chat now to make sure no randoms. But check the chat now, make sure no randoms, because the randoms are abundant now. I spend too much time receiving messages from people who have no idea of what's really going on. I will show you this was my second album. Okay, that's the second album. I will show you the first Sacramento rap album ever made. The first Sacramento rap album ever made. Handheld, handed to me by a young entrepreneur named Cedric Singleton. I'm in the studio with these people. E40, Be Legit, the Sacktown. I was inspired by Miss Marvelous. I'm the only human on earth that has her first songs. This is before AWOL, and you're coming at me? Please refer to Ask the Schlangs. Do anything you have to do. You don't have to be stupid anymore. Moving forward. In the midst of the just you'll find this. When I step in the booth, ain't about being cute. About bringing street perspective on record for you. I know it's you. I know it's supposed to be you, but by now you know. It was written as, when I step in the booth, ain't about being cute. About bringing street perspective on record for you. Then that voice of DEG, to be so funny if you said you. What was that one movie? It's an old movie. Oh man, it had Joe Pesci and I'm gonna look in the chat because I know y'all know. What was that one movie? It had Joe Pesci and he said the youth. What was that movie? Tell me in the chat. Or you guys, it was an old movie. You may not know in the chat. No, it was before Casino. It was the woman who plays Spider-Man's aunt sometimes when she was young. I can't remember her name. Starts with an M. My cousin Vinny. Quiet Conqueror. So I know, see, that's what I'm saying. So here we are, the Quiet Conqueror and DJ Moonchild in the rap. In the rap, the line goes, when I step in the booth, ain't about being cute, about bringing street perspective on record for you. But just like these websites and the chat GPT, there's little codes in these DE raps. There's little codes put into DE raps with the specific purpose of reaching out to the most intelligent of urban minds. In this case, Moonchild and the Conqueror. You understand Ute then, right? About bringing street perspective on record for you. Tell me you don't understand that. And sometimes sometimes it's not a mass thing. Sometimes I just put little things in that 1 out of 100 people will get. Sometimes I put things in these raps that 1 out of 100 people will get. But anyway, that's part of that movie. Street perspective on record for you. Sometimes you gotta come left field with it. Street perspective on record for you. Cause the Mac Road homie may not have a stage. It's back when I worked on Mac Road. Hey, whoo, I'll tell you some stories. I don't even. All right, let me write this down. I'm gonna tell you a few stories from when I was teaching at Mac Road, Valley High. Y'all win. It's the Fahrenheit. I got a lot of crazy stories, man. I'm gonna write that down for tomorrow's episode. Cause the Mac Road homie may not have a stage, but his wisdom so depth, I must pave the wave. Cause the Oak Park sister ain't got album out. So it's up to me to project what she talking about. As I walk in the lab, it's so divine. It's me and God's time. I beg the Lord use me as a channel of his intention. I'm in the spotlight, I'm ready. Won't fail to mention. Fahrenheit record by First Degree the D. I'm in the chat. Oh, wow, King. You win. So you know. Boom. Mac Road in the building. I used to live out there too. Now, yeah, there's all kind of Easter eggs in the beats too. A few episodes we talked about that. Well, mostly I talked about the skeleton. So I'll write that down too. Last time I talked about the skeleton of the beat. Next time let's talk about the Easter eggs in the beats. Okay? We talked about the skeleton, but there's always Easter eggs in the beat too. And last time I kind of just glanced over it. Feel man? Thank you, Moonchild. That's funny you mentioned that. I think one of my students is in this chat now. But they just see me as Mr. Colon. That's what I'm saying. I'm so many. If you had 1 million people for the entire Sacramento population, and I walked in a room, they would know me as a teacher much faster than they know the rapper. Okay? I've had about 40,000 students here in the Sacramento area. Okay? And I know I've had a lot more with the raps, but like at first with the raps and the lynch, and no one knew what I looked like. So I'm not an attention, I don't seek attention, never did. Ooh, link in the chain. Carlos, I'm gonna write that down. That'll be the next song I do tomorrow. Okay? What else I need to write down? I got the pen. What else I need to write down? What else I need to write down? Uriel, okay. Whoo! I was wondering. Now we're safe. Now we safe. Art. All right, what else I need to write down? I got the pen for the next show. What else I need to write down? I'm in the chat. Writing down stuff for the next show. Leon, what up? Yeah, what up? Phoenix, Arizona. I love that spot. Romans, what's good with it, y'all? I'm in the chat. I got Dr. Dulo would be a tough one to do. because I'm pleading with it. Dr. Dulo would be a tough one to do, but I'll keep that in the back of my mind. Conquer. All right, say it with your boy. All praise due to the Fahrenheit Schlag. It is the schlangs that brings us here together. All praise due to the Fahrenheit Schlag. It is the schlangs that brings us purpose. Meet me back here tomorrow. Same Fahrenheit station. Same Fahrenheit hour. Peace.